Welcome to Sib Spot. Today's Reddit stories again are from Am I the Butthole? Posted by an account called Throwaway for Am I the Butthole 8. Am I the butthole for telling my fiancée she looked weird in our wedding night? Throwaway because I don't want my friends to recognize me for privacy reasons. I'm 32 male, I'm dating Sarah, who's 29. For over 2 years, I love her to death and she means the world to me. Also, she's a person who's comfortable in her skin and doesn't use a lot of makeup, which I really adore about her, and we always tell the truth to each other no matter what. Yesterday was our wedding. The moment I saw her, I was shocked. She used a huge amount of makeup that I barely recognized her without hearing her voice. She saw my facial expression, that I was acting a little out of the ordinary, and she asked me what's wrong. I told her that it's nothing, but she looked a little weird with all that makeup on her face. She tried to laugh it off and started talking to her other friends. To be honest, at that moment, I really didn't think I said something wrong or anything bad, especially since she didn't say anything. However, when we went home, she started to give me the cold shoulder treatment. I told her, "What's wrong?" And she said, "And she doesn't feel well and she's tired, etc." To be honest, I think she's hiding something, and that got me wondering if what I said may be the reason. So, am I the butthole? This person got pretty well slammed in the comments section. On most women's wedding day, even if they don't wear a lot of makeup to begin with, they will usually get their makeup done. It costs a lot of money, it takes a lot of time, it makes them uncomfortable having it put on. So she was trying to do something nice and look perfect for him. But she already looks perfect for him without all that, and maybe he could just say that to her. You look perfect without all that stuff, you don't need all that stuff, it just makes you look fake. A lot of people think that heavy makeup looks clownish, honestly. But people are all saying, if she gets a wrinkle or a stray hair, or what if she changes even slightly? What if she gets older? He's going to hate her. I think that's over the top, but Crystal Queen 3000 said, "You're the butthole. On the day she's meant to feel beautiful and stunning and desirable to her new husband, you pulled a funny face and told her she looked weird. What a crappy start to a marriage. Poor Sarah." That got almost 60,000 upvotes when I screenshot this story. I'm sure it's well beyond that now. Our next story is by Unruly Gentleman. Am I the butthole for refusing to cook for my wife anymore after she ate 3 of my meal prepped meals? In my household, my wife doesn't cook. She sucks at it, and it's just easier on our taste buds if I cook for us. Earlier this year, we both decided that it was time for us to get back in shape, so I decided to research some macro/calorie-friendly cooking recipes and got big into meal prepping. My wife stuck with it for a few weeks, but ultimately decided to quit. Luckily, this wasn't too much of an issue for me. She's a nurse and frequently works much later than I do, as my typical workday is from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. So I would make my meal prep meals for the week on my day off, and then I would make dinner like I did prior. When I meal prep, I make 6 days worth of 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and just swap around lunch and dinner. Last week on Thursday morning, I left for work and planned on coming back Friday morning and stopping through home, grabbing anything I needed, and then heading into the office. This was known for weeks in advance, so I didn't spring it on her. I figured that she would be able to make sure she and our kid got dinner that night and breakfast that next morning. The next morning, I'm running late and drive through home looking for my last breakfast and lunch for the week, and they're gone. I don't have time to ask my wife, nor do I want to wake her up early before her shift, so I just go. I end up skipping breakfast and lunch. I get off work and I'm starving, and I decide I'm just going to eat dinner early, and when I look for my dinner for that night, it's not there. This is what set me off, and when my wife gets home, I ask her what's up, and she admitted to eating the meals. I tell her that I had portioned out the food for an entire day, and that she ate all of it in a single night. She said it was all my fault, as I didn't make anything for her and our kid to eat, and I just left the meal prepped things, so they had to eat those. We got into an argument, and she told me I was being selfish. So now I decided that if I'm selfish for expecting her to feed herself for one night, I would just not cook anymore, as I'm doing a lot of work for a selfish person. For the past week, I made my meal prep meals and store them at work and let her figure out what she wants to do for dinner by herself. Of course, I still cook for our kid, but only the portion small enough for him to eat by himself. I told her I would keep this up and she should learn to cook for herself if she's not happy about it. She told me that she's too tired when she comes home from work to cook, and then I'm being incredibly petty. I think I'm justified, and I'm pushing her to learn a life skill she should have by now. Am I the bad guy? Everyone in comments seems to agree you're not the bad guy here. You still feed your kid, but not her. I guess you could make a little extra for her when you're making meal prep for him. But if she's eating your meal prep things that are low calorie and special, that's not thoughtful on her part. She should not be eating those. If she's not dieting and doing this low calorie thing anymore, you guys sound like you have two hardworking people who are making decent money. She's a nurse, and I don't know what job you have, but she's going to be making a lot of money. She can grab something from like a fast food place, or she can go to the store and get like a rotisserie chicken or anything else. She doesn't need to eat your stuff. That special low-calorie diet thing. Top comment below by Bring Me Info says, not the butthole. When a man does what your wife is doing, we call it weaponized incompetence. I'm not the best cook in the world. I try on occasion. I can make certain things and they're very tasty. Like, I'm not inventive. I can't think, what would go well with this? I'm just going to try some of this. My Nana is the best cook on the planet, I'm pretty sure. If you just don't feel like cooking because you're tired, that's one thing. You got to learn to make your own food. Our next story is by Am I the AH? Throwaway 234. Am I the butthole for not backing down over homeschooling my son? My son Colin recently turned 20. He's my youngest kid. I have two older kids from an ex-wife. They're 32 and 35 respectively. He's been doing some catching up with them, and I guess they've been telling him stuff about what they did during their childhood and teen years. I took him out for beers the other day, and out of the blue he starts complaining that I'm some sort of jerk for homeschooling him. That compared to his older siblings, his childhood was crap, and that thanks to me he has no friends and no social circle. It is true that I sent his older siblings to a private Catholic school. I'm not religious, but I do think there are higher standards of education there. But that's because I could afford it then. Times had changed by the time I had Colin. I don't get what he's complaining about. He always seemed so happy as a kid. It's not like he was stuck inside all day either. We played sports and stuff like that. He had way more free time than regular kids, and he got a way better education, too. My wife is a certified teacher. I understand maybe he should have been around more other kids, but all he had to do was ask and I would have arranged it in a heartbeat. But he always seemed happy, like I said. I told him he needs to stop comparing himself to other people and just be grateful for the wonderful life he's had and the opportunity to live. He got all sarcastic and moody, said his life was/is horrible and there's nothing to look forward to. He wanted me to admit the homeschooling was a bad idea, but in my heart of hearts I know it was the right thing to do, so I couldn't agree with him. He got really drunk and weirdly silent and has been in a funk for the past few days, very unlike his normal self. I get that he's upset with me, but I don't think that I should lie and say I agree with him about the homeschooling when I actually don't. Am I the butthole for not backing down? Hey, it's Crystal Queen 3000 in the comments again. You're the butthole. Quoting you, I understand maybe he should have been around more other kids, but all he had to do was ask and I would have arranged it in a heartbeat. How is a kid that's never been given a real social life with his peers supposed to know that's an option he can even ask for? Underneath that by The Rock Witch, this person earned the red border. Hello, Father. I know I'm only 7, but I feel I may require more socialization in order to attract friends and a significant other one day. Shaking my head. Yeah, if you're really young, you don't even know this is an option. Some of these people seem to expect even children to know, hey, I need more people in my life. They're not even aware that's a thing when they're young. I don't keep in contact with anybody from my high school. I had friends in high school. I just don't keep in contact with them. That's part of life. That's part of getting older. That may be what he's experiencing right here. He has nobody he talks to. But I can also say that I had quite a few friends when I was young who were homeschooled. They were brought up in a really religious household. They hated homeschooling back then, and I have actually spoken with them a few times through my brothers because they're more friends than I am with them. They still look back and hate the homeschooling they had to do. It's kind of important to get your kids into a social circle at a young age because they need to learn how to behave and how to be normal and how to be appropriate from each other. As much as people don't like putting their kids in a public school, it is beneficial. Our stories for today have come to a close. If you enjoy this content, please click like or subscribe or leave a comment below. Each of these helps my channel reach more people in the YouTube algorithm. Until we meet again, have a peerless day.